So this motor was having poor compression, and the first time when I rebuilt this, I really didn't take off the valves to this engine. But I'm gonna do a test right now after taking it apart the second time and check if the valves are leaking. So one thing to check if the valves are leaking is to pour some acetone or gasoline onto the chamber right here and see if it leaks on both the intake or the exhaust port. So I have some acetone right here. Gonna get a screwdriver, open it up, and gonna pour this. So I have the spark plug installed, tightened, and I'm just gonna pour this the best way as I can. Try to fill up that port. The best way as I can. And the important thing here is to make sure that the acetone is over both the exhaust ports right here, the valve on the top part. So the best way to tell if these valves are leaking is to get a flashlight and check the exhaust port and the intake port, see if they're leaking, see if there's any wet spots. I do see some, it looks like there's some wet spots, but I'm not sure if that's from the acetone. Regardless, there shouldn't be any wet spots in there. And just this, looking from this spot, that's actually the exhaust port, and this is the intake. So the exhaust is, it seems wet. Actually it shouldn't be wet at all. So that just tells me that the exhaust valve is not seated well. There's some leakage going on, so that's a result from a low compression, which this engine was getting. And I'm just gonna check the move this aside. So I'm gonna check the intake valve over here, the intake port, and it's pretty hard to tell on this one. I do see some wet leakage, not excessive as the exhaust. I do see some wet spots from the intake valve, which is not good. The first time when I rebuilt this whole the first time when I took this whole engine apart, I didn't take out the valves and like did a whole honing on the cylinders and new rings, and I didn't like do a whole seating on the valves because initially this was going to be a low budget rebuild, and it sucks because like when you try to do something like that, it just ends up backfiring, and like just now like I have to do the whole engine rebuild the second time. So there's definitely some leakage, if not on that exhaust port. Yeah, definitely on the exhaust port, and as well as the intake valve. Definitely there's more on the exhaust port, on the exhaust valve. So next step is to clean out the valves. install new valve guides and test if those valves are bent or not. I'm pretty sure they're pretty straight, but just slapping those valves and installing them, putting new rings onto the pistons, and we'll go from there.